Members across that side, you represent some of the poorest areas in Kent.
That's humanity. That's what I got elected for.
To pay for this when you put no money aside for it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just point of order. My colleague has thanked you for your advice. Advice is something you can take or leave. I think in this chamber, the chairman's word is actually what we abide by, and it is final. Thank you.
Perhaps some of the Reform administration have got ahead of themselves. I'd like to remind them, as yet, they haven't secured a parliamentary seat on the green benches. And this is the KCC members. You were elected to deal with county issues, and the focus should be on your local residents of Kent first and foremost. I'll leave the proposed... Yeah? Yeah.
So I think...
Chair, but as you're probably aware, we're not standing...
as you're probably fully aware, the pre-election period affects everyone.
Yeah.
And if you're using something that may affect the outcome of the election in some way, from either a comment that you make in this chamber, then that does cover. And the advice that I gave earlier certainly covers. So just be careful what you're phrasing.
Thank you for your advice, by the way. I appreciate it. But my understanding is the debate of the motion itself, just naming a motion without its context. But I give way to the leader.
Yeah, what we're doing, we're straying away. It's the response to the leader's report, not about what's on this afternoon.
I'll start now. This Reform UK administration stands exposed, showing its shortcomings, its lack of experience in local government, its lack of strategic thinking...
Stop. That's too close to the boat. We'll stop there. We won't have a backwards and forwards. If you can't, you keep away. You were warned on the Purdah side or the pre-election period. If you've got anything that doesn't affect that, you're certainly welcome to bring it forward.
Then I will continue. The administration's policies are becoming increasingly exposed. Reform have taken unacceptable risks for their budget.
No,
Point of order.
That's too long. Right. Mr. Rayner, that's the second time.
Point of order.
I think you need to sit down. If you don't mind just sitting down, we'll freeze the clock. We have a point of order, which...
No, point of order, Mr. Chairman. You've made your direction very clear at the beginning, not to mention anything that may influence an election. Just twice now the leader is refusing...
Point of order.
On this point, before we move to any more points of order, I'd like the monitoring officer to give her view. But I feel that strayed too far into the pre-election period.
I think there's a degree of... we all want to follow the rules. I think there's a degree of confusion about what the rules are. I wonder if a 5-minute adjournment for the group leaders and yourself and the monitoring officer to meet to establish clarity would be useful.
I think the terms that I gave at the beginning have come from legal advice. They were quite clear. We can't stray into territory that might be or could lead to a perception. And we're in very, very tight ground. I noticed there's two more. We can spend all day going through points of procedure or points of order. However, if anything is mentioned of a party, the way someone's reacting or whatever, we can't go down that line. That's the clear legal advice that the Council has taken.
Chairman, can I really appeal for a big structure of clarity? Can I point out the leader in her very first sentence mentioned a member of the Liberal Democrats. In her speech, she then praised the budget. It seems to now be the position that you're saying the leader of the Conservative Party can't criticise the budget. That's so inconsistent. I can't think that is what you intend. And I wonder if a brief meeting where we can just confirm the position, it would be useful for all parties.
The two other people who want to raise a point of order, Mr Streetfield, followed by Mr Thomas.
Mr Hurkis very ably pointed out the thing that I was going to point out, which is that the subject of the leader's speech was the budget, and she proposed a positive view, as she would do. Mr Rayner, in answering the leader's speech, is talking about the budget and a different view, and that I would welcome some clarification from the monitoring officer about whether that is in order or not.
Okay, Mr Streetfield, thank you. Hold on. Mr Thomas, your point.
Thank you, Chair. I too am confused by some of this advice, and I think the most sensible way is to take this short adjournment where we sit down in a room, we understand what can and cannot be discussed and debated. Otherwise, we're going to be going round in circles, and the heat in this room is definitely going to go up. Thank you.
If I can call on the monitoring officer to clarify a few points.
I hope this is a simple clarification for all members. The budget is a council-approved item, not a political single item, and therefore reference to an individual political group is quite distinct. Thank you.
The regular meeting of the leader and the opposition group leaders was cancelled on Tuesday without explanation, so none of the group leaders have had any notice of the contents of the speech. So we have had no idea of how we can respond to the content. It is completely ludicrous to expect us to respond to a leader's speech which focuses predominantly on the budget without making any political points. I would question whether the timing of this entire meeting is sensible. I would suggest that this meeting should have been rescheduled for after the election, the by-election in Cliftonville.
The normal business of the council, as in any other council, would carry on during any election period.
Mr Chairman, I still have 2 minutes left.
Budget. Just to clarify a point. The budget is the council's budget.
Just for what it's worth, then, I will endeavour to steer clear of the budget. I think I've got a passage here that hopefully will be within time. Thank you, Chairman. I also used the same wording that Mr Kennedy did in his, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to use this, election documentation.
Just if you've got any doubt, my advice, Mr Rayner, would be not to use it.
Even if
you've got the doubt in your mind...
Even if it's in the past, Chairman?
Well, if you want to say it, but then you might finish up not having the opportunity to...
Because there was a promise made in 2025 that there was going to be a pay cut. And whilst we don't believe that pay cut should have been in those promises, and this group does not believe that's the case, that there was a promise made by those incoming to the administration that there should be. It was widely distributed in the county, and it hasn't come to pass in this paper.
I think there is an election risk there in the pre-election period. I think
Mr Chairman, this is directly in accordance...
I know, but it's advice I've had, legal advice. I think you're treading into territory that may affect the pre-election period. Don't go there.
If that is, so this is now a point of order, Mr Chairman. If that is true, then this should not be on the paper.
Yes.
Because we cannot discuss the normal business of the council by discussing what was promised and then what has been delivered.
I think we could no. I think by discussing something that may have been promised or may not have been promised or whatever, I do not feel we can go down that route. And if you've got anything else to add, fine. But if not, I think you should take your seat and we'll see if there's somebody else.
So it's a point of order, Mr Chairman, and I would like to seek clarification from the monitoring officer on this, because within the Constitution, when we're discussing the normal business of the council, and the chairman makes a ruling that that is not possible as a result of PERDA, but it was in the promises that were made by the administration and we are not allowed to say anything, then this item should not be on the agenda. It is perfectly clear in the rules on PERDA, in my view. That's why I'm asking for a point of order and a view from the monitoring officer.
I will ask for a view from the monitoring officer. Thank you.
The rules for pre-election matters are quite clear, and we are trying to be as cautious as we possibly can. Criticism, therefore, of a political group, which may have a bearing on other matters, is something we are seeking to avoid.
Thank you for the ruling. And I take from that, Mr Chairman, that we have to be cautious about this. But it is quite clear on page 53 that the top-level salary has gone up and not been cut. And that represents a broken promise. And if we are...
I think we need to stop there now. If you don't mind resuming your seat, and we'll go. There is no other speaker.